And what a difference a day makes. Like, I know I didn't get on here yesterday, but it was day one of my period. Like, my face is dry. I'm just, you know, let's take a vote, because I can't be the only woman. Like, this is not a unique experience. Like, why is it day one, maybe even sometimes day two, are the worst? It's like my body has been preparing all these other days, getting ready to have this moment, and then the moment comes, and you mean you want to make me feel like this is gonna be my last day? Like, that is crazy. Anyway, I had to take my tea with me. I'm drinking the raspberry leaf tea because it is good for the cramps and menstrual stuff. But with that being said, I am so elated at the fact that I wrapped up my first cohort of racial disparities in healthcare. It's a class that I started teaching over on TikTok in an attempt to supplement my time and to gain some supplemental income, right? For me, it wasn't about gaining the followers. If you watch back a video called Why Do You Want Followers? It was never about gaining the following. It was about putting myself out there as a business owner, as a brand. I'm not a businesswoman. I'm a businesswoman. Like, right? I am the business. I am the woman. And so I wanted people to know, like, not only am I an author, not only am I a teacher, not only am I a professor, not only am I a multi healthcare professional, I am a wealth of wisdom, knowledge, and creation. And I'm very creative, and I can get things done, and I'm into research, and I have a passion for teaching. And so we had like over 40 something odd people sign up. And the book that I used for the course, which is one of my books, of course, that I wrote, I published that book in 2020. And I want to say since 2020, prior to announcing the course and selling and using the book as a required text for the course, at that point, I probably had only sold. I've given away more books than I've sold, if I'm being honest with you. At that point, I had only sold maybe 5 books since it launched, because I would do the breastfeeding consultation thing at one point, where I would help new mothers with their breastfeeding experience, and I would just give them the book. Like, it is a great read. And, with people being new moms and stuff like that, like, that's just a service that I would do. There was no uh, monetary gain from it, but it is fulfilling. So that, you know, the good you put out into the world, be the change you want to see. And the more that was growing, the more moms was coming to sending, referring their friends and their sisters and their aunts and their, you know, I've even had men call me to help their women with breastfeeding because they had heard about it on Facebook and stuff like that. And when I deleted my Facebook page, that page went away, so people weren't able to find me. So, again, I've given away more books than I've sold. And then boom, I say I'm teaching this class, and I get the book written, and I mean, I get the book out there, and I sold more books than I've ever sold in January. And so that was good. And then I sold some books in February. We probably sold like 1 or 2 books in March, because at that point now the momentum of the course is dying down. But then in the middle of like maybe like 2 classes in, I said, hey, if you want to get the professional development, so now in 48 hours I have to pull those videos down and put them into an archive, because they're only going to be available via the learning platform that I'm using. And people can purchase the professional development that way and have access to the classroom, the virtual classroom. So yeah, racial disparities in healthcare. So my next class that I'm going to kick off, my next Kickstarter, is healthcare is politics. Now that's going to be something like, if you see me here on live recording it, I'm recording it so that I can put it over to the learning platform. Um, but I'm really excited, and it does my heart great justice. Like somebody said, thank you for sharing your brain with us. And that's how I know. I always remember, I'll never forget, my great aunt would say, get your education, because your education, nobody can take that from you. It's up in here. Get that education, right? It's in here. No one can take this from me. Even in the midst of, everything that I have going on. I just got off a call with a friend of mine and was telling her a little bit of woes about my business, because again, all I can do is do the best that I can. And I might make another video about this, but I'll say this here. When we see what's going on with big businesses, let's take some time and be mindful of what's going on with small businesses. Because with small businesses, and I just realized something, this should sound a lot better. But when we see what's going on with big businesses like Macy's and Party City, AutoZone, when you see what's going on with these big businesses, like, do you not understand, like, small businesses suffer the most? Like, there's no way for me to recoup the fact that I have all of this inventory and I can't get new inventory. Okay, that's fine. Maybe we don't need new inventory. Maybe we need, but once we sell down to a certain percentage, we have to replenish the inventory and we can't. There's no sales that are going to happen that's going to help me recoup when, the business bills are still going to roll in and those have to be paid. Prices are going up quicker than we can get customers. That is what's the reality of having a small business. Like, even if you don't get not one customer all day, the business phone is still going to ring. People are still calling around, shopping around, looking for the best price, asking questions, right? There's still business that has to run. And so I was on live talking about how small business works. And I said, even if you work a job, like, let's say you work a job like a restaurant, you work at IHOP, for example, and you're an employee, you still have to go into work. They don't say, oh, just because there's nobody showing up for the last 8 hours, go home. No, you have to stay there 8 hours while it's slow. That is the life of a business owner. You cannot just say, yeah, we're closed. You still have to be open because people are still going to call. You still have paperwork you have to do. You still have questions you have to answer. You still have emails you have to answer. You still have to do all of the legwork, but there's no pay from that. The pay you get is when you interact with customers and you get a customer to buy something. But I just wanted to get on here and say something and let y'all know that Black Girl Say Something airs an episode every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There'll be some links in the description of this episode, so interact with them. We're also on Patreon. I have a new story time coming called Situationship if you are interested in that. Sharing is caring, okay? And the more that I get on here and I talk and I realize there is no unique experience under the sun. And this is the whole premise of Black Girl Say Something. You want to be able to say something because at the end of the day, you don't know who it's going to help. I have a friend girl of mine. She gets on live and she was talking about some of the challenges that she's having with her children, 18, 16, and then she has two younger ones. And, people are in the comments and like, they don't get it. If you're not a parent, you don't understand that parents need support. Parents, we're just like, especially as a mom, I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl. So you create those boundaries with your children so that they can understand that you're just a girl. Watch the video, Raising an Empathetic Son. I want my son to understand the feelings of others, how his actions can affect others, right? That starts with accountability. So when I say we see a lot of men who don't know what accountability is, it does go back to how they were held accountable or how they saw accountability as children. If they never saw it as children in their formative years, they become the men, the adults, the adult men who are still emotionally bound to the fact that ain't nobody ever hold me accountable. So what that mean? I'm gonna blame my mama. I'm gonna blame the fact that I ain't had no daddy. I'm gonna blame the fact that my mama and my daddy ain't stay married. Like, no, that's not okay. That's not okay. Anywho, with that being said, cheers to a fantastic Friday, and let's be mindful of, small businesses. Small businesses are hurting. You see the big businesses, the big corporations. Small businesses are hurting, but when you support a small business, you support a dream, and hell, you even support what they got going on. When you support a small business, you are keeping that small business open just one day longer. Until next time.